All right. Oh, I should probably put the headphones on before I start talking. So I can know if I'm actually talking. I am actually talking. That is awesome. This is WOBC FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio. I'm Ellen Efstathiou. It's okay if you cannot pronounce my last name. And this show is That Reminds Me, the show where I play songs and then tell stories about things that the songs remind me of. That was a little smoother this week, that description. That was In My Life by the Beatles. If you are older than me, you probably recognize that song. Or you will recognize that song if you are my friend Adelaide, who is probably not listening and should not be listening because it is 3 a.m. and she is also in the Eastern Standard Time place section thing. So yeah, everyone should be asleep for that, well, I'm not making any sense. I should also be asleep is probably what that means. But yes, sleeping at 3 a.m. tends to be a good thing in my experience, you know. But yes, if you are my friend Adelaide, you will recognize the song because it is your favorite song. However, you're most likely not my friend Adelaide, but you might still recognize that song because, you know, the Beatles, kind of popular, just like a little bit. That sort of a thing. But yes, Adelaide is one of two friends that I have who really, really, really likes the Beatles. And my other friend is my friend Alex, who also should not be listening to this because it's 3 a.m. And both of them really like the Beatles, and I have a neutral relationship with the Beatles. I do not love them, I do not hate them. I like some of their songs, I have not listened to most of their songs. Neutral relationship. However, a band that I do love, an old British band that I do love, is Queen. And I think that Queen is better than the Beatles. And my friends Adelaide and Alex, who have never met each other, but I think would get along well, they both think that the Beatles are better than Queen. It is an ongoing argument I have with both of them separately. But yes, you could call in right now to tell me what your opinion is. I do not know the phone number to call in right now, so you would have to figure that out on your own. But you could call in and let me know if you think Queen is better or the Beatles are better. Let me know. I mean, well, I will pick up the phone. I do not like talking on the phone, but I will pick up the phone just for you if you call to let me know which one it is. Yes. When me and my friend Adelaide were first becoming friends, which was in 7th grade, the previous year in 6th grade, I had read a book by Julie Andrews, the actor Julie Andrews. Speaking of actors, the Oscars were last night, which I didn't even know about until last night. But Julie Andrews wrote a book called The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles. And when I was reading it in 6th grade, people would be like, oh, what are you reading? And I'd be like, oh, this book called The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles. And they'd kind of look at me weird and go like, okay, sure, weird book. So then the next year, I was in the middle school play, which was called The Marvelous Adventures of Till. It was a very weird play. Extremely weird. I could tell so many stories about that play. But during, like, a rehearsal, our director decided to read us this poem called The Jabberwocky, I think. Pretty well-known poem. But at one point in the poem, they mentioned something about a whangdoodle. And I immediately thought of the book, The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles, but I didn't say anything because of all the weird reactions I'd gotten the previous year when I was reading it. So I didn't really say anything, and my friend Adelaide, who I was kind of becoming friends with at the time, was like, oh, it reminds me of this book, The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles. And I was like, oh my god, someone else has read The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles. And now we're great friends. Not just because of the Whangdoodles, but that's such a funny word, now that I'm saying it a lot. But yes, now we are friends, and that was a song by the Beatles, which is her favorite band. That was In My Life, if you were listening like 5 minutes ago. All right. And next up, we have another song from pretty long ago. So, get ready for that.
for a minute, pretend I don't live in it. Sunshine gonna wash my blues away. Had sweet love, but I lost it. She got too close, so I fought it. Now I'm lost in the world, trying to find me a better way. Wishing I was knee deep in the water somewhere. Got the blue sky breeze and it don't seem fair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise.
Wrote a note, said be back in a minute. Bought a boat and I sailed off in it. Don't think anybody's gonna miss me anyway. Mind on a permanent vacation. The ocean is my only medication. Wishing my condition ain't ever gonna go away.
Cause now I'm knee deep in the water somewhere. Got the blue sky breeze blowing wind through my hair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise. This champagne shore washing over me.
It's a sweet, sweet life, living by the salty sea.
One day you could be as lost as me.
Change your geography, maybe you might be.
Knee deep in the water somewhere. Got the blue sky breeze blowing wind through my hair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise. Come on in, the water's nice. Find yourself a little slice. Grab a backpack and lunch. You never know until you try. When you lose yourself,
You find the key to paradise.
That was Knee Deep by... who is it by? By Zac Brown Band and Jimmy Buffett. So that's something. I knew it was Jimmy Buffett. I didn't know the Zac Brown Band was also on that. I also don't know who the Zac Brown Band is. Guess what? It is time for a public service announcement. The snow parking ban is valid until the 1st of April, 2022. So that's in less than a week. The overnight parking ordinance, often referred to as the snow ban, prohibits parking on residential streets and alleys from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. from November 1st to April 1st. If there are any questions, you may call the Oberlin Police Department at 440-774-1061. So, in less than a week, you will be able to park wherever you want. Well, not wherever you want, but, closer to wherever you want. So we just listened to Knee Deep, which is a song that is very close to my heart. These first two songs both have to do with friends, like old friends, which is great because I have been having an existential crisis about friendship since January. I won't get into that on air, though. You don't all want to listen to my existential crisis. Or maybe you do, but, probably not. What was I going to say? Yeah, so this song is very special to me, because back in elementary school, I used to go to a swimming and sailing program. It wasn't exactly a camp, it was a program, during the summer, and once me and my friends were a little bit older than super young, so, we were still pretty young, looking back, it's like, well... we were young, we were children, but we were like 11, and so we were allowed by our parents to venture off of the immediate beach area where the swimming and sailing program took place. And there was a creek, not super far away from the beach, but a bit of a walk out of view of our parents. There was a creek next to a jetty. And so we started going there like every day. You know, we'd have sailing, we'd come back, we'd eat lunch, we'd go swim a bit, and then we'd decide to go to the creek. Maybe we'd do some crabbing as well. That was also a popular pastime that we had. Use some chicken from our sandwiches from lunch to stick on like a piece of string, drop it down in the deep end, and hope that a crab would latch on. Spider crabs mostly. But we would go to this creek, and the creek had a bit of a current, a little bit of a current. And so we would race things sometimes, a piece of leaf, a really light piece of wood, that sort of a thing. And one day we were racing all our things, we were all grabbing our things that we wanted to race. And my friend later described it to me as she was watching her leaf go down the creek, and from behind her she hears, "Go brick!" It was me that said "go brick," because I had found a small piece of brick, and that was what I was racing. And to be fair to myself, it was tumbling along the bottom. It was not the fastest, but it was tumbling along the bottom. If this had been like a turtle and hare sort of situation, perhaps my brick would have won. My brick did not win. I don't think my brick even made it to the end of the finish line, but it did move. So, go brick. By the way, this is WOBC FM 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. I'm Ellen Efstathiou. It's okay if you can't pronounce my last name. Most people cannot pronounce my last name. I could do many stories about that. Maybe I will someday. But I won't subject you to that now. We have another song coming up, though, so that's always fun. Songs are fun. That's why, you probably know that because you're listening to a radio, so you would think that songs are fun. All right, here we go with another song.
Oh, I used to be a farmer, and I made a living fine. I had a little stretch of land along the western line. But times were hard, and though I tried, the money wasn't there. And bankers came and took my land and told me fair is fair. I look for every kind of job, the answer always no. Higher now, they'd always laugh, we just let 20 go. The government, they promised me a measly little sum. But I've got too much pride to end up just another bum. And I said, who gives a damn if all the jobs are gone? I'm going to be a pirate on the River Severn. Yar! And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the Severn's mighty shores. You think the other farmers would know that I'm a large, but just the other day I saw an unsuspecting barge. I stuck up right behind them and they were none the wiser. I rammed their boat and sank it and I stole the fertilizer. The bridge aside of Redwick spans a mighty river. Farmers cross with so much fear the stomachs are a quiver, cause they know the tractor Jack is hiding in the bay. I'll jump the bridge and knock 'em cold and sail off with their hay. And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the Severn's mighty shores. Well, Officer Robbie chased me, he was always at my throat, but he followed on the shoreline cause he didn't own a boat. But cutbacks were coming and the copper lost his job, and now he sails with us and we call him Salty Rob. A swinging sword, a skull and bones, a pleasant company. I never pay my income tax, screw the VAT. Sailing down past Old Bury, the terror of the seas. If you want to get to Tesco, boys, you gotta get get by me. And it's a heave ho, hi ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the seven mighty shores. Well, pirate life's appealing, but you don't just find it here. I hear that up in Yorkshire there's a band of buccaneers. They roam around the Yorkshire Dales from Smith to Beverley, and you're bound to lose your flag up if you have to pass their way. Winter is a-coming and a chill is in the breeze. My pirate days are over if the rivers start to freeze. Well, I'll be back in springtime, but now I've got to fly. I hear there's lots of plundering down in the Isle of Wight. And it's a heave ho, hi ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the seven mighty shores. And it's a heave ho, hi ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the seven mighty shores. When you see the Jolly Roger on the seven mighty shores, hey!
Nothing like a sea shanty at 3:20 a.m. to give you that 3:20 a.m. feeling. That was The Last Bristolian Pirate by The Longest Johns. I did not know their band name until just now, but I absolutely love it. The Longest Johns is a fantastic name. I actually didn't know about this song until 2 days ago. Because 2 days ago I went to a fencing tournament. I'm on the fencing team here at Oberlin. I had never fenced before last semester when I took the Exco, but now I'm on the fencing team, and it's very fun, and the tournament we went to on Saturday was very fun. Shout out to everybody on the fencing team. Very fun time. Very fun. Yeah. So that was a fun song about pirates. We all love pirates. I like pirates. I watched a TV show about pirates. I think it was last year. Might have been 2 years ago, but I think it was last year, called Black Sails, and it was a very good TV show. I watched. It's 4 seasons, 38 episodes total. Each episode is an hour long, and I watched all of that in a week. It was spring break. It was spring break week, so I wasn't putting aside my homework for, for this show, for Black Sails. But I did watch 38 hours of a TV show in a week, which is a little bit scary when I think about it too much. But still, a very good show. There are a lot of gay pirates in it. Not like a ton of gay pirates, but more than one gay pirate is in that show, which is fantastic. One of the I don't want to give any spoilers away. There are some pirates who are gay in that show, and there are some who are not, and that is all okay. But a fun fact that you might not know about me, I would highly I just realized, you probably can't hear me because I was talking next to the microphone, but now I will talk into the microphone. I learned about this in my cinema class the other week. Some microphones are like their polarity makes it where you can hear it. Well, hello. You don't know what I'm doing. I'm looking at the dials that show the volume for, if you were listening, this probably just got a lot louder, which I apologize for, but I'm just watching the little volume thing just ticking back and forth as I get closer and louder and further and sidewayser, which is very quiet, unless I talk very loudly. Well, unless I talk very loudly, but still pretty quiet. Because polarity, and this is probably a 1. I don't know. I don't remember. I was given a lot of information during that class, and it is not my fault if I cannot remember it all. But yes, a fun fact that you might not know about me is that I have been on a pirate ship. Yes, I know, it's difficult to believe, but I was. It was a fake pirate ship. It was not a real pirate ship, but at the same place where I was doing my sailing and swimming lessons, the same bay. If anyone listening, if any of you ears of corn out there are listening, and you're from Massachusetts, on Cape Cod, Lewis Bay, you might not know it, but, like, it's in, like, Hyannis area. Everybody knows where Hyannis is, I think. Well, maybe not. I don't know. People from Massachusetts know where Hyannis is my opinion. So in Lewis Bay, in the middle of the bay, there is a small little pirate ship that stays in the entire year. It never comes out. It is permanently there. It is a landmark in the middle of the water. It is a watermark. And the reason that there is a small little pirate ship there is because there is a larger pirate ship that you can go on if you pay money, you know, if you buy a ticket. And it's like a kids thing. Like, kids go on the pirate ship, and then they have this whole thing where they go around looking for clues, and then, oh, there's an evil pirate on the little pirate ship. And then they have to, like, defeat the pirate on the little pirate ship. Very fun stuff. And for years, my mom was like, we should go on that sometime. And we never went. And finally, we did go when I was, I think, 12 or 13. So my younger sibling is 4.5 years younger than me, so they were 9-ish, 8 or 9, I think. Something like that. And so we finally go on the pirate ship when we're that old. And the thing that neither of us, nor my mom, nor anybody else we knew, the thing that none of us realized about that pirate ship is that it is meant for kids, yes, but very little kids. Most of the kids on that ship were like 3 or 4. No joke. So I'm there, 12 or 13, just like, what on earth is happening? Like, or well, I knew what was happening. It was very obvious to me what was happening because it was an act. They were acting. But yeah, my favorite part was when they would go, oh, we need to give directions to the pirate driving the ship. Where do we need to go? And we were all supposed to go that way, and point. And I just love the specificity of those directions. Go that way. Go there. Absolutely love that. I could turn this down and that would make me quieter. I forgot. My apologies. Is this too quiet now? I am so sorry if I'm just like messing with your radio a bunch. I'm very sorry. I'm keeping you on your toes. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, that was a very awkward experience. And the prize wasn't even that good. It was fake coins, and we got to try, it was like some vanilla flavored carbonated beverage. I don't like carbonated beverages. They hurt my tongue. They hurt my entire mouth. And for most of them, the taste does not make up for the hurt, for the ouchiness. So I was not a fan of the pirate ship. But if you're like 4, you know, maybe you would be a fan of the pirate ship. I do not know you. If you are 4 do I know any 4-year-olds? I don't know any 4-year-olds like well. Yeah. I will say that. All right. That was a fun story. Oh no, my computer turned off. Now it turned back on. Did I ever I did not ever turn the input one back off. But that's okay because it wasn't playing anything. All right. We have another song now. Are you ready? I hope you are. Because it's coming whether you like it or not.
Sweetheart, she's an angel from above. She's a shooting star. It's true. Here's to the prom queen. Carry your prom queen down the aisle. Dance to your song and wipe her eyes. Let the wedding band play you out. Drink in the basement, honeymoon, and graduation's coming soon. Congratulations. invitations to the bride and groom. Kiss oh so quietly. Now that her parents are asleep, this is true love. High school sweetheart, she's an angel from above. She's a shooting star, it's true. Here's to the prom queen. Come Monday evening, cap and gown. Come Tuesday, leaving little town. Sit on the park bench where you fell in love. Beside the tree, you carved your name. Lie in the backseat, wide awake. Wipe the tears away and say goodnight. Kiss all so quietly. Now that her parents are asleep, this is true love. High school sweetheart, she's an angel from above. She's a shooting star, it's true. Here's to the prom queen. So quietly, now that her parents are asleep. This is true love. High school sweetheart, she's an angel from above. She's a shooting star, it's true. Here's to the prom queen.
That was Here's to the Prom Queen. Well, parentheses, Here's to the, end parentheses, Prom Queen, by Peter McPoland. By the way, this is WOBC FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio. I'm going to take a second to adjust the microphone, so I'm going to be silent for a couple seconds so that I do not burst your eardrums. And I'm back. Wow, that was so quick. Are you happy I'm back? I hope so. But as I said, this is WOBC FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio. I'm Ellen F. Stothu. It's okay if you cannot pronounce my last name. I do not know why I'm talking so quickly this morning. This is really weird. Do I usually talk quickly? I don't think I usually talk quickly. I feel like I'm a pretty chill sort of person. Maybe I'm not actually a chill person, but I don't know. It's okay. So yes, as I said, that was parentheses, Here's to the, end parentheses, Prom Queen by Peter McPoland. My school, because of COVID, did not have prom junior year. We did have it senior year, though. But junior year, well, my school did prom, my high school, that is, did prom a lot earlier than most other schools. Like, most schools would have it, like, mid to late May, and ours would have it, like, early April. It was really weird. So because ours was in early April, the school was already sending out information about it before, like, lockdown, and we knew that we'd all be staying in our houses for, like, 2 years. Not really, more like a few months, and then just, like, very cautious. The pandemic has not, well, I'm not going to say anything. It's okay. It is my personal opinion that I'm not going to say what my personal opinion is. Haha. Yes. So that's a thing. But before the pandemic hit, my high school was still able to like send some information, the beginnings of information out to the parents. And so, my parents got the email and read it because of course they did. And so one day I came home from school, I was just like hanging out. My dad was like, so we got an email from the school about prom. And I was like, oh, okay. And my dad goes, so do you need a date to go to the prom, or can you just show up? And I was like, first of all, thank you for having the confidence in me that I could get a date to prom. That is the kind of confidence that I need in my life. But second of all, no, I do not need a date to go to the prom. I can, as you put it, just show up. However, prom didn't happen that year. Nothing really happened. Well, things did happen that year. Not prom-related things, not school-related things, no school events. But yeah, that was a fun little thing about prom. Do you need a date or can you just show up? I can just show up, Dad. I can just show up. Senior year, though, I didn't really have a date. I kind of had a date. Two of my friends, Avery and Catherine, I'm just calling all my friends out by name today, didn't call my friends from swimming out. Well, I'll tell you now. My friend who told me the story about me going, go Brick, was my friend Alexis. But back to this story, my two friends, Avery and Catherine, did very elaborate promposals for each other, mainly involving ducks, which is a long story, but basically during a creative writing class, not for the class, it was in spite of the class. They were in fact bored by the class. They started emailing each other as immortal duck gods who were in a relationship. It was very, very dramatic. There were many ups and downs. A lot of stuff. They had a kid named Prince Buttersley. Their names were Sir Quackerton and Quackette. And so that was a main staple of their promposals to each other, was the duck emails. The day of Thurs. Oh, I forgot to mention, the duck emails were also written in like fake Shakespearean language. So instead of Thursday, it would be the day of Thurs. Instead of Miss Libby, our creative writing teacher, it would be the Libby of Miss. And that sort of a thing. It was always very fun to hear about the latest escapades of Quackette and Sir Quackerton during lunch. Yes. I also got a really good, my friend Catherine wrote one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard in one of these duck emails, which is, "A sin a day keeps the lust away," which is fantastic if you ask me. Just so much fun. Such a great quote. I love it. Yes. Okay, yes. I was just checking that I logged the last song, which was, parentheses, here's to the end parentheses, Prom Queen by Peter McPoland. That's a good song. If you were not here last week, and if you are here this week, go to sleep. But if you were not here last week and you are here this week, Peter McPoland is an artist who we will probably be hearing a lot of during my hour, because I really like his music. So yes. Also got a lot of nostalgia in his music, and a lot of my stories have to do with nostalgia, or like, I can, twist my stories to have the meaning of nostalgia. But yes, so my friends, Avery and Catherine, did very elaborate promposals. Me and my friend Adelaide, the same one who likes the Beatles, we did much smaller promposals, like the day before. It was very like spur of the moment. She wrote me a note in a book thing, and I wrote her a green piece of paper with a pickle pin. That is a pin that was a pickle. Not like a real pickle, it was a plastic pickle, a fake pickle. And I do literally mean a pickle, not another thing that you might think I am using the word pickle instead of the word, but an actual pickle, because she is a very innocent person, and so she says, "Oh, pickles," instead of, like, other words, like what I might say, which I cannot say on air, because then I will have to use the dump button, which gets rid of the last 8 seconds, and I want you to hear every single second of me talking on the show, because, yes, because I do. I swear, I promise, I'm not this vain in real life. I am putting on an act. Although maybe that will make you believe me less. But oh well. Or maybe I'm changing my personality. Who knows? No one ever stops growing. We are all continually growing. Maybe not height-wise, but we are all continually growing in our brains. And guess what? It is time for another PSA. You know, actually, I'll say this PSA, and then I will tell you the other thing that I have to tell you. All right, it's PSA time. The OHC is hiring. This PSA is valid until the 2nd of April, 2022. Another one that is coming up soon. OHC is hiring summer college and junior internships, education and research internship, college level, 40 hours a week for 10 weeks this summer. Application deadline, March 26th, junior internship, high school level, 35 hours a week for 10 weeks this summer. Application deadline, April 2nd. For more information, visit oberlinheritagecenter.org. I just read that and I am confused. So if you are confused, don't worry about it. I would recommend going to oberlinheritagecenter.org because hopefully that will make more sense than the very long sentences that I just read. That was weird. But the deadline is coming up, so if you want to do that soon, would be my recommendation. The other thing that I have to tell you is that Oberlesque, if you are an Oberlin College student, Oberlesque is this Thursday. I think you have to sign up to get tickets to be admitted. You can go to it on their Instagram page. Just look up Oberlesque and it should show up. But yeah, I'm doing lighting for that. So if you want to come to that, you can do that if you want to. Obviously, if you want to. I am not telling you to do anything. I am simply making you aware of a thing. So yeah, that's that. All right. I think that it is time for another song. Get ready for another song. Ready? And here we go.
Good morning.
We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning to you.
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say good night.
So good morning. Good morning. Sunbeams will soon smile through. Good morning. Good morning to you and you and you and you. Good morning. Good morning. We've gabbed the whole night through. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Nothing could be grander than to be in Louisiana
In the morning. In the morning, it's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Might be just as iffy if we was in Mississippi.
When we left the movie show, the future wasn't bright. But came the dawn, the show goes on, and I don't want to sit say good night.
Don't say good morning.
Good morning. Rainbows are shining through. Good morning.
Good morning.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Buenos dias.
Lucius Prias.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen.
Good morning to you.
All right, that was Singing in the Rain. Not Singing in the Rain, that was Good Morning from the movie Singing in the Rain. Starring Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor. That is, in fact, my favorite movie, Singing in the Rain. So now you know that. If you were here last week, which is doubtful, but maybe I should stop doubting myself. If you were here last week, you know that I played On My Own from Les Mis. However, I did not have the opportunity to tell a story about it. Oh no, so sad. So this week I'm going to tell the story that I wanted to tell last week. I did a lot of tech theater in high school. I almost primarily did tech theater in high school for my afternoon program, which was required. Not tech theater was required, but an afternoon program was required. And I did tech theater. And my junior year, the last show we did before COVID hit, we did Les Mis. And I don't really like Les Mis. That's my musical theater hot take, is that I don't really like Les Mis that much. I think it's boring, and I don't really like the characters. But nevertheless, needless to say, we did Les Mis, and I was on tech. And one day, during a performance, an actual performance, we had an audience there. Before the master of the house scene, all the, people, what are they called? The actors. That's what they are. All of the actors, well, not all of them, but the actors are supposed to bring various things on. And before the master of the house scene, they had to bring on a bunch of tables. They had to bring on like 10 tables and all these chairs and everything. It was crazy. So this one day during this performance, I was putting whatever I had to put away because tech theater, I was a deckhand. Actually, I was the stage supervisor for that show for Les Mis. Look at me go. But I had so I did that, and I come back to backstage because I had to put something away in the hallway. I come back to backstage. I return to the backstage, and the actors are all worried, and everybody's worried, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we forgot to bring a table on stage. And I was like, well, just act around it. Your actors improvise, just go for it. And they were like, but this bottle needs to be on the table. And I was like, okay, so when you go on stage, bring the bottle on stage. And the actor I was talking to was like, well, I'm not in this scene. And I was like, okay, hey. So I go up to the guy who was playing Thénardier. What's his name? Master Thénardier? He's the guy who is the master of the house. Monsieur, or whatever. I don't speak French. Thénardier. I go up to him and I'm like, hey, they forgot to bring a table on stage. You need to bring a table on stage. And he was like about to go on. And he was like, okay, bring me the table. And so I tried to bring him the table, but it literally could not fit behind, because he was supposed to come from behind the set, go out through the middle and then come down. And that was his thing. However, the table couldn't fit back there. So I was like, okay, all right then, you're gonna go through this entrance. So we went through another entrance and he was carrying the table. And I get back on headset and I hear the stage manager go, oh, he looks angry. And I was still very nervous about the whole thing. Like, my adrenaline just shot through the roof when they were like, we don't have the table on stage. And I was like, ah. So I was in such a frenzied state that I thought that he was genuinely angry about the fact that he had to carry the table on. I forgot that he could be acting, that was a possibility. So then the next day I asked my friend, I was like, did he seem angry? And my friend was like, well, he seemed like he was acting angry. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's my story about, well, I have many stories about Les Mis. That's one of them. However, it is the end of story time. Get ready for another song.
Gonna find me a river, gonna make myself a bed where the fish asleep and no man's ever been. Gonna call your name with my very last breath. Gonna get going.
All right, that was, let me look for a second. Am I talking? Yes, I am. Okay. That was Get Gone by Michaela Davis. By the way, this is WOBC FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio. I'm Ellen F. Stotheu. It's okay if you can't pronounce my last name. So, that song... Hold on. All right, there we go. My headphones are a bit tangled. That song, I feel like, is pretty nature-y and that sort of a thing, which is fun. Nature and that sort of a thing. And in fact, I have a fun story about a time that I was very interactive with nature. So, as I mentioned in the story before this one, I did a lot of tech theater in high school. And so that was from junior year, that last song, or that last story. And this story is from freshman year. So we were working on the musical, which was Crybaby at the time, but the middle school, which was right next door, was also doing a play at the same time. Not like the performances were at the same time, but they were working on the show at the same time. And their show, what was their show? Oh, it was called Gargantua. That is not important, but now you know. It was a weird play. All the middle school plays are weird plays. And so in early February, which was when their show was performing, I was staying late after school because I was going to have to go and help with the middle school play. And I was working on my homework, and I'd gotten to a certain point, and I was like, I only have one more piece of homework left to do. I'm almost done. I'm going to go for a walk because my high school was right next to the Charles River. So I decided to go for a walk in the woods next to the Charles River. And so I left my bag at the school, and I went for a walk. And it was mid-February in Massachusetts, so it was still pretty, snowy and that sort of a thing. And I got to... Where did I get to? I got to a certain point in the river where I was, walking right next to the river, and there was a piece of ice that was sticking out into the river that was attached to the bank. And I was like, you know what? I want to touch the water. So I stood on the ice, and I walked out a little bit on the ice, and I was very careful. I was testing the ice before I went, all that sort of a thing. And I got to a certain point on the ice, and I was like, well, this is as far as I'm going to get, or else I'm going to fall in. So I turned around, and that is when I fell in the water. So, luckily I managed to get out. I was all the things I'd ever heard about what you're supposed to do if you fall in the water were going through my head, and I was trying to remember them. I got out of the river, and I'm standing there, and I realize that I'm kind of lost in the woods. So I start just going towards where I know the road is. So I just am bursting through trees and bushes. I get to the road. I am freezing cold. I am soaking wet. It is mid-February in Massachusetts. That's basically the same thing as Ohio. It is cold. So, or maybe it was early February. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I get to the road, and I start going along the road. I do not have good stamina. I am not a good runner, even when I am not freezing wet and freezing cold and soaking wet. As I was running, by the way, someone was going in the other direction. At a certain point, someone was walking their dog in the opposite direction. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what I would have thought if I saw a soaking wet 14-year-old in mid-February walking down the street. But they didn't say anything to me, and I didn't say anything to them. And finally, I get back to school, and I go to the nurse, and I burst in, and I'm like, hello? And they go, hi? And I went, hi. I just fell in the river. And I could tell that he was trying not to laugh at me, which, to be fair, I would do that too if I was a school nurse and someone, a kid came in and was like, I fell in the river. Fair reaction. But I was freaking out that I might have hypothermia because I'd just fallen in ice water. So I was like, do I have hypothermia? And he was like, no, you're probably fine. And I was like, great. I was all worried for nothing. And so then they had to call my parents and be like, can you bring some dry clothes? which my parents did do, which that was nice. So I was in nice dry clothes when I had to then go do tech for the middle school play, which was Gargantua, which is a weird play. All right, one more song, maybe only half of a song because it's kind of a long song, but one more song left. Yay.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. To me. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger